Yesterday, you were informed of Paul Biya's victory in the presidential election in Cameroon. The president of the Constitutional Council, Clement Atananga, proclaimed the results. In the Journal du Cameroon, we learned that the authorities have launched a call for tenders to build a residence for the president of the Constitutional Council for an amount of more than 272 million CFA francs, that is about $475,000. The call for tenders dated 12 October but published yesterday, Tuesday. Indeed, the members of the Constitutional Council, who are appointed by the head of state, have been widely accused by the opposition of being biased in favor of President Paul Biya. And during the Constitutional Council's examination of post-election appeals, all of which were rejected, an opposition candidate's lawyer openly denounced Clement Atananga's affinities with the ruling party, recalling in particular that his wife was a member of the ruling party.
L'opposition avait ouvertement dénoncé les affinités de Clément Atangana avec le pouvoir en place, en rappelant notamment que son épouse était députée du parti au pouvoir. Maîtriser l'invasion chinoise où nous allons tous périr.
The Chinese invasion, or will all perish. These are the words of Kenyan MP Rigathi Gachagua, who wants to limit foreign investors in favor of Kenyans instead. According to the daily newspaper The Standard, to achieve this, the MP wants to amend a law to limit foreigners' access to contracts worth less than $10 million, an urgent measure because, according to the MP, Chinese companies will steal Kenyan jobs. He is quoted as saying, "We have what I would call a Chinese economic invasion of Kenya. These people arrive slowly and they're economically evicting the owner of the house. This must stop." Not sure about this message will be heard, or even that his bill will be passed. Kenya is very dependent on China. In 2017, Kenya imported $4 billion worth of Chinese products. So obviously the divorce between China and Kenya is not for tomorrow.
Vous vous souvenez de ce fameux accord?
Do you remember the famous agreement for an African free trade to abolish borders and allow the free trade of all Africans on the continent, but it will also make it possible to remove custom barriers and boost trade between African countries? Well, this ambitious project still does not seem to convince all the countries of the continent. Nearly a dozen countries have still not ratified this agreement. According to the Rwandan newspaper The New Times, Paul Kagame, who is the AU head, is trying to convince those who hesitate. At a Pan-African session of parliamentarians from the continent, he said, "It is about putting our house in order, about speaking with one voice to defend Africa's interests. Working together is the only way to give Africa the weight it should have in a broader geopolitical context." The target date for the entry into force of the agreement is January 2019. This time is short, and at the same time, there is still a long way to go to convince all 54 countries on the continent.